Detective Wilson sat in his dimly lit office, the file on the recent jewelry theft spread out in front of him. The evidence felt heavy, the kind that pushed judgment to the forefront of his mind. Photos, statements, and fingerprints, all pointing to a single suspect, a young man named Alan. As Wilson reviewed the case, that familiar voice in his head whispered the easy answer. Alan was lazy, irresponsible, maybe even reckless. But as his thoughts coiled around frustration and anger, his fingers brushed the rim of the detective lens that lay on his desk. He paused. The detective lens wasn't just a physical tool. It represented a shift of perspective, a reminder that peering deeper often meant releasing presumption in favor of curiosity. Wilson closed his eyes for a moment, recalling the phrase he'd once scrawled in his notebook: "You can't be curious and furious at the same time." He picked up the detective lens and peered through it at a photograph of Alan. Instead of looking for signs of guilt, Wilson let questions float to the surface. Why had Alan been near the store that night? What pressures weighed on his shoulders? Turning to the transcript of Alan's police interview, Wilson scanned past defensive answers and evasions, noticing something different. There was a moment in Alan's testimony when he hesitated, mentioning his mother in passing. This detail rang oddly. Curious, Wilson cross-referenced hospital records. Alan's mother had been admitted for a long-term illness 2 weeks before the theft. Suddenly, the evidence began to rearrange itself. The pawn shop ticket found in Alan's pocket wasn't just a clue, but a symptom, a link. Wilson expanded his search, reviewing financial records and public assistance forms. Alan was juggling hospital bills, eviction notices, and odd jobs. This wasn't the picture of carelessness, but of someone fighting a losing battle. Wilson's perspective softened as he explored the fragile thread of desperation that ran through Alan's life. The theft wasn't a brazen act, but a last resort. As more pieces fell into place, Wilson approached Alan in the detention room, not as a criminal to be condemned, but as a person facing impossible choices. The conversation that followed was different. Wilson asked open questions and listened. Alan spoke of sleepless nights, the terror of losing his only parent, and a momentary lapse driven by fear more than greed. There was remorse in his voice and relief that someone was finally seeing the full story. By the time the case reached its conclusion, Wilson had gathered not only evidence, but an understanding. The community service sentence allowed Alan to remain with his family while making restitution. Wilson recommended resources for medical aid and counseling, seeing justice not as punishment, but as restoration. Back in his office, Detective Wilson replaced the detective lens in its case, reflecting on its true value. Empathy and curiosity, he realized, were as crucial to his profession as intuition and deduction.